A couple days ago, I did my reaction to James Gunn's 6-minute video talking about the new DC plan, the Gods and Monsters. And in this article from Hollywood Reporter, it looks like we're going to be getting a little bit more information. James Gunn and Peter Safran are now going to speak about the new plan. After that 6-minute video, things still felt messy. He didn't explain everything properly. Like, what exact movies and shows are going to be part of the DCU? What's going to be not part of the DCU? Like, is Aquaman, is Flash, are they part of the DCEU and they're going to be rebooted completely, or are they going to continue on into the DCU? Is Blue Beetle going to be in the DCU, or is that gone after the reboot? And why is Aquaman coming out after the reboot, right? The reboot is taking place with Flash. And then Aquaman is coming out after, and Blue Beetle is coming out after. So are they part of the DCU, or are they being rebooted also? Because he said the start is Superman Legacy, but it's actually not, because their movie's coming out after the reboot. And Waller, the show, is coming out before Superman, and that's 100% part of the DCU. So it's like, what's going on here? So hopefully this Hollywood Reporter article is going to shed some more light on all of this. So let's check this out. It's written by Boris Kitt. And I want to skip just to like where they're talking. Let's start here. It looks like we have a quote here. One of our strategies is to take our diamond characters, which is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Okay, the Trinity are the top characters we got to focus on, and use them to prop up other characters that we don't know, that people don't know. Okay. Don't take your diamond characters for granted. Okay, don't be like, hey, this is Batman. Everybody knows Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Everybody knows them. There are diamond characters. We don't need to invest time in them, but we're going to use them to prop up other characters that people don't know. It makes sense that you're using more well-known characters to lift up characters that people don't know. But I don't want you to take away the light that is due to your diamond characters, right? You don't want to take the spotlight away from these guys to focus on these guys, right? You don't want to look at Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman as just a tool to prop up the other characters. I don't think they're going to do that, because they are focusing on Superman. That's what they said in that investor call, right? Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. That's the focus moving forward. We're starting off with Superman. We're not really starting off with Superman. The whole timeline is like, I don't get it. To build those lesser known properties into diamond properties of tomorrow. So are we expecting Creature Commando and the Authority to be diamond properties of tomorrow? Come on, what about the Flash? What about all, there's so many other like Martian Manhunter. What are we shaping Creature Commandos and the Authority to be diamond properties of tomorrow? And there's so many DC's got so many characters. Why are we focusing on the most obscure characters that nobody even knows about? While plans may yet shift, caution the duo, here is the initial slate of the projects for Chapter 1 in the order they're planned to appear. Creature Commandos, a 7-episode animated series written by Gunn that is already in production. I think in the video he said that he wrote every single episode. Originally a team of classic monsters assembled to fight Nazis, this is a modern take on the concept. The voice actors have yet to be cast, but the executives... See, the voice actors have yet to be cast. See, they got to be careful with the voice actors, right? Because the voice actors need to actually look like the animation if they're going to be playing them in live action. And that's the tricky part with having everything connected. The voice actors have yet to be cast, but the executives are looking to find people who can voice the animated characters and also play the live-action versions when the anti-heroes show up in the movies and series. I was watching another video on YouTube. I forgot the guy's name, but he brought up a really interesting point. By doing this, you're taking away jobs from voice actors, because you're going to give them to actual actors. And then, on top of that, the actual actors need to have a completely free schedule because they're going to be doing live action work. Then they're going to be doing voice acting work for the animation and games. So they're going to be living these characters. I don't know how many actors are going to want to sign up for something like that. Waller, it's a spin-off of Gunn's own HBO Max hit series, Peacemaker. Viola Davis will return as the ruthless, morally ambiguous head of a government task force. And this is also like, why are we picking and choosing here? Viola Davis as Amanda Waller is part of the DCEU. If we're doing a complete reboot, why are we keeping certain parts? You know, it's like he's picking and choosing. Like, he had Viola Davis in his Peacemaker show and his Suicide Squad. So the stuff that he worked on, the stuff that he likes, we're keeping, and the stuff that he doesn't like, we're not keeping. Like, I don't understand that. And are we keeping Aquaman or not? I don't know if this article is going to address that. We're getting rid of Superman. Why? Well, we're talking about Superman right now. Let's finish Waller off real quick. It is being written by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, the creator of the Doom Patrol TV series. Superman Legacy, the movie featuring the Man of Steel that Gunn is writing and may direct, although no commitments on that end have been made. Okay. I'm a bit cautious with Gunn writing, though. I hope he understands the character of Superman. I want a traditional classic interpretation of the character. I don't want, like the way he said it in the video, he wants to focus on directors to showcase their unique take, right? I don't want a unique take. I want just classic. You know, I want classic traditional. We've gotten unique takes in the past, you know? I just want to see the classic traditional. Save the unique takes for the Elseworld. The Elseworld stories. Okay, while the two previous titles are meant to be aperitifs, in Safran's words, what are aperitifs? I don't even know what that means. Aperitifs. Alcoholic beverage taken before. Okay, so an appetizer. Okay. So this is the big enchilada. This is the main course. This is the entree. Superman is the true kickoff for the duo's DCU plan. It's a true kickoff, but you're making this Superman live in the world that you're creating with Creature Commandos and Waller. So these two, while the appetizers, are extremely important because they're building the world for the DCU. The Superman is going to live in the world that Waller and Creature Commandos creates. So that's important. Superman is the true kickoff for the duo's DCU plans. It's not an origin story, Safran said. It focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. He is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way. He is kindness in a world that thinks that kindness is old-fashioned. A release date of July 11, 2025 has been penciled in. Okay. All right. That sounds very good to me. I'm happy with that. So we're getting a classic Superman, looks like. At least they have their eyes pointed in the right direction, right? The execution, we have to wait and see. But the direction of what Safran is saying over here sounds good. So now the question is, what is going to be the unique take? Right? Because that's what Gunn said. He wants to focus on the story, right? But not just the story. He doesn't want to take away power from the directors and the storytellers and the writers, right? He doesn't want, basically what he's saying is he doesn't want the execs to meddle in with the creatives, right? But he also wants a unique take. He wants it to feel special, right? What's going to be the unique thing about this? You know, what's the unique thing about Superman? I don't want something new. You know, we've gotten so many new, different interpretations of these characters. I just want classic, traditional. We haven't gotten classic and traditional in a long time. Lanterns is going to be good because I heard he said in the video, Lanterns is going to be focusing on the larger scheme of chapter 1, right? The big bad, the overarching story. So Lanterns is going to be something we got to pay attention to. Greg Berlanti's long in the works Green Lantern's TV series has been scrapped, and Gunn and Safran have parted ways with the longtime DC series steward. In its place will be a new take on the space cops with power rings. Our vision for this is very much in the vein of True Detective, Safran described. It's terrestrial based. Okay, so that's interesting. It's terrestrial based. So we're going to be staying on a planet. Not necessarily Earth, but we're going to be staying on a planet. We're not going to be doing stuff in space. So there's space cops that are not going to be doing space-based things. It will feature prominent Lantern heroes Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. And how does that going to work, right? Because Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, were they ever Green Lanterns on the same planet? Or were they in different sectors of the universe? Because I always thought that Hal Jordan passed it on to Jon Stewart. I don't know. I'm not big on, I don't know. I don't know much about Green Lantern, to be honest. And it is one of the most important shows they are in development. This plays a big role, a really big role, in leading into the main story we are telling across film and TV. So this is going to be cool. This is going to be cool, man. The Authority. The Authority is what I'm confused with. Again, I watched another video on YouTube. A guy was talking about The Authority. He's a fan of The Authority. He likes them. And he said that The Authority are essentially The Boys, but light version. They're not as extreme as The Boys, but it's more hardcore than the Justice League for sure. So, and there apparently there is a knockoff Superman, a knockoff Batman. So how are you going to have I don't know. Again, I'm just going based off of what I've heard. How are you going to have a knockoff Superman when you just came out with the Superman movie? Like, you're going to have another Superman level threat. You're going to have an entire team that, I don't know. Do they wreak havoc? How do they enact their justice? You know, like, do they have a moral code? I don't know much about this Authority. But you're going to have a knockoff Batman before Batman even comes out? Like, how is the Authority going to intermingle in the world where you just created Superman in? You just put Superman in. You don't have a Justice League in, but you have the Authority in there. How is that going to work? Like, Superman's going to want to have to do something about that, right? Unless this is set in a different time. I don't know. A movie based on the team of superheroes with rather extreme methods of protecting the planet that first originated in the late 1990s under an influential imprint known as Wildstorm, run by artist and now head of DC Publishing, Jim Lee. One of the things of the DCU is that it's not just a story of heroes and villains, said Gunn. Not every film and TV show is going to be about, and that's the thing. This is a film. This is a movie. This is not just some side little TV show. This is a movie. And it's not Elseworlds. It's part of the DCU. So how is this? I don't understand. We should be focusing on the mainline characters here, right? I feel, why are we introducing a team that nobody knows, that honestly I don't think many people even care about, because we're trying to work towards a Justice League here, right? Like, I want a Martian Manhunter movie, man. And who is the Authority? Who are Creature Commandos? One of the things of the DCU is that it's not just a story of heroes and villains, said Gunn. Not every film and TV show is going to be about a good guy versus a bad guy. Giant things from the sky come, and a good guy wins. There are white hats, black hats, and gray hats, added Safran. They are kind of like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. I haven't seen A Few Good Men. They know that you want them on the wall, or at least they believe that. I don't know about the Authority, man. I don't know. The Authority is confusing me because it's coming out after Superman in the middle of your first chapter, before you're creating a knockoff Justice League before you even have the Justice League, before you have even established any other member of the Justice League besides Superman. And we don't even know if Superman Legacy is going to establish the character as Superman, because Man of Steel didn't establish Superman as Superman. He didn't even get to play Superman. Henry Cavill didn't. That sucks, man. That sucks. But, okay, I don't know about this. If you guys have any more insight on the Authority, let me know. Paradise Lost. This one I'm looking forward to. This could be really good. I'm a big Conan the Barbarians fan. I'm a big fantasy fan. And that piece of comic book art that they showed, I resonated with that. I like that. That looked cool. This show could be really good. The duo described this HBO Max series as a Game of Thrones style drama set in the all-female island that is Wonder Woman's birthplace, the Mascara. Filled with political intrigue and scheming between power players, it takes place between the events of the Wonder Woman films. What Wonder Woman films? So is Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman films going to be canon in the DCU? Is she going to continue on with the DCU? So we just got rid of Henry Cavill's Superman, and we're keeping Gal Gadot Wonder Woman? Are we keeping Aquaman? Are we keeping Jason Momoa Aquaman? Are we keeping Ezra Miller Flash? What is going on here? What is going on here? The Brave and the Bold. My worry with this one is, okay, it makes sense. I know a lot of people are upset with Damian Wayne being the Robin, but with that we can fast forward and we get Nightwing faster, right? But my thing is that means Batman has been through all these Robins and everything, so we're gonna get an older Batman. But the reason why he got rid of Henry Cavill is to get a younger Superman. So we're not gonna get a Batman and Superman around the same age. So how is that going to work? And we have this Batman has to be very well established because he has the Robins and all of that already, and I don't know, man. This guy's got to be Batman. He's got to be Batman. I hope that we get an all-encompassing Batman, right? Like the detective, the genius, the fighter, all that, right? I don't want just one aspect anymore. I want full-on Batman. I want to feel like this is Batman off the comics or off the cartoons, you know? The Brave and I feel like this is our best bet of getting that, honestly. With the name The Brave and the Bold, somewhat like how they're describing Superman Legacy, I feel like, honestly, we might actually get classic Superman here, and hopefully we can get classic Batman here. But I want that brotherly relationship, you know, between Superman and Batman. I don't want an older Batman, because this is our Batman moving forward, you know? The Brave and the Bold. This is the introduction of the DCU Batman, said Gunn, of Bruce Wayne, and also introduces our favorite Robin, Damian Wayne. The movie will take inspiration from the now classic Batman run written by Grant Morrison that introduced Batman to a son he never knew existed, a murderous tween raised by assassins. It's a very strange father and son story. And the idea of a father and son story is really cool, right? We've been getting a lot of father and child stories lately. The Last of Us, God of War. And they're nice. They're good. And that having a father and son could really establish the authoritative figure that is Batman, right? That is Bruce Wayne. We can jump right into it without having to deal with all, explaining everything. You don't need to explain every little thing, just jump right into it and have the story believable. Like A New Hope, Star Wars A New Hope. Who is Darth Vader? Who is Princess Leia? Who is Luke Skywalker? Who's Darth Vader, you know? He comes on screen and we know who he is. Show, don't tell. Same thing with this. This is the perfect time for them to show and not tell, right? Really show that Batman is Batman. Like, he's not a guy to be messed with. And we can show that through the interaction with Robin. And importantly, it will feature a Batman not played by Robert Pattinson. However, there is also the Batman sequel, Batman 2. Robert Pattinson will continue to portray the Dark Knight in at least one more crime saga movie directed by Matt Reeves. That movie, the executives revealed, will be released October 3rd, 2025, and is being called The Batman Part 2. Bro, that intro to the Batman, that intro monologue was perfect. That's the Batman I want to see, you know, that intro monologue. 2025 is going to be a very big year for DC, crowned Safran. Superman and Batman within the same year. Booster Gold, this is perfect for James Gunn. HBO Max series based on a unique, lesser-known hero created in 1986. Safran said of the series, "It's about a loser from the future who uses basic future technology to come back today and pretend to be a superhero." Gunn described it as imposter syndrome as a superhero. That was funny. I think he'll do good with Booster Gold. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This sounds good. This sounds like it could be really good. Taking cues from the recent Tom King written miniseries, this movie promises a different take on what most think of when Superman's cousin comes to mind. We will see the difference between Superman, who is sent and raised by loving parents from the time he was an infant, versus Supergirl, raised on a rock, a chip of Krypton, who watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life, and then come to Earth. See, this worries me because he's emphasizing the tragedy of this story, and I feel like this might diminish my chances of getting a Martian Manhunter movie, because that's what sets Martian Manhunter apart from Superman also, right? Martian Manhunter saw everybody he loved died, everybody he ever knew die, and then he was a fugitive on Earth, you know? So it's like this story, this Supergirl story, but literally times 1,000. So, would you think that they would focus on another character with a similar mental state? I don't know. But then Martian Manhunter also has to worry about his image, his figure. He's not accepted because he looks different. He looks like a weirdo. He looks like an alien. But man, I really want a Martian Manhunter movie, and I feel like James Gunn is the best chance for me to get one. So hopefully he gives us a Martian Manhunter movie. Where did I leave off of? She is much more hardcore and not the Supergirl we're used to. Okay, I mean, I'm fine with that. This sounds cool. I haven't read the comic book story, but it sounds cool to me. Swamp Thing, a horror film that promises to close out the first part of the first chapter. So I think I messed up talking about Swamp Thing in my reaction. I said it sounded like he said it's totally different from the rest of the DCU, so I thought like it's not part of the DCU, but he said tonally, not totally, apparently. So the Swamp Thing is going to be part of the DCU, it looks like. So that's sort of random, I feel like. Let's see if there's any more quotes down here that we can go off of. There's nothing that prohibits that from happening. What from happening? He also said the 4 leads of those films could potentially return to their roles in the DCU projects on the line. What? What for? Shazam, Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman, those 4? So we could get Ezra Miller, Flash, Zachary Levi, Shazam, and Jason Momoa, Aquaman. And honestly, I'm looking forward to Blue Beetle. Who's the actor? The guy who plays Miguel in Cobra Kai. I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be cool. But I want classic. I want Zachary Levi, keep, fine. If you want to keep Zachary Levi, fine. But get rid of Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa. I mean, if you want to keep Jason Momoa, make him dye his hair blonde. Stop doing the rock star thing, you know? Let him be Aquaman. I feel like James Wan, he wanted to go in a more traditional direction, but he couldn't change the character too much because it was already established. So if we're doing this reboot, maybe we can at this point if we want to keep the same actors, but why are we getting rid of Henry Cavill just because you want a slightly younger Superman? Like, come on. That can't be the only reason. Probably the greatest superhero movie ever made. The Flash is one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. All right. So basically, James Gunn's validity is about to be tested. When this movie comes out, we'll find out. If this movie sucks, well, there's my hopes for the DCU. We don't want the series to feel in any way like a stepchild or lesser than, said Gunn. It's just another way to tell a story. What series? Okay. Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart series. All right, that's fine. But we need to have the budget there, okay? We don't want a TV budget, right? We need to have a good budget so that we can hire actors that you would have hired for a movie. That we can have set pieces and costumes that you would have for the movie. Because these, you're going to have them translate. It's all connected. We're having translated from TV to movie, from movie to TV, right? So we gotta be there. We gotta be there with the quality. We didn't fire Henry. Henry was never cast. Yeah, he was. He literally made an announcement. WB had to make an announcement. He was in a Black Adam. He made an announcement that he was coming back. They hired him. You guys fired him. What do you mean he was never cast? You might have personally not casted him, but WB did. For me, it's about who do I want to cast as Superman and who do the filmmakers we have want to cast. And for me, for this story, it isn't Henry. Why? Tell me why. But then he said, there's nothing that prohibits that from happening regarding Aquaman and all of them. I doubt you've even written Aquaman yet, but you're saying there's nothing that prohibits them. What if you want to do a younger Aquaman? Jason Momoa is you're fine with Jason Momoa being your Aquaman? There's nothing that prohibits that from happening? Did you write your Flash? Do you know if Ezra Miller is going to fit? There's nothing that prohibits that from happening. Do you know that? What is the reason that you didn't want Henry Cavill as Superman? I don't know. I want you should tell us the vision, man. Because it seems like he's just like cherry picking what he wants, what he doesn't want, and he's not explaining why. I like Henry. I think he's a great guy. I think he's getting dicked around by a lot of people, including the former regime of this company. But this Superman is not Henry for a number of reasons. What are the reasons? Because Superman, Henry Cavill understands Superman. He wants truth, justice, and American way. He wants the truth, justice, and the American way. Just like Safran said. Henry Cavill wants the joyful, hopeful Superman. Just like Safran said. So why is Henry Cavill not the Superman for you, James Gunn? Tell me why. Is there some special, unique twist that you want to add for this Superman that makes Henry Cavill not a fit? What's going on here? The bar is going to be very high for projects to be outside the DCU, the Elseworlds projects, but every now and then there will be something that lives up to that. So that means the majority of the projects are going to be in the DCU, which means the majority of the animated movies are going to be in the DCU, which means the majority of games are going to be in the DCU. And that is not good because then we're not going to get, dang it, man. Like I was talking about in the other video, the Arkham games. We wouldn't have gotten the Arkham games if everything was connected. We'd be getting only movie games. Think about the DC animated stuff. We wouldn't be getting all these comic books adapted to animated movies. We wouldn't be getting all these things if they were all connected to the live action movies. Everything would have been set in the Dark Knight universe or something like that, you know? It's not the Gunverse. It's sounding like it. It's sounding like you're picking what you want. It's got to be all these different feels from all these different stories. That's what makes it so fun. But I want the characters to be consistent. You know, I don't want different feels for that. I want Batman to feel like Batman, I want Batman to feel like Batman. I want Superman to feel like Superman. The stories are completely different, and each has the individual expression of the writers and directors that are making those projects. Yeah, see, so if we're getting a different writer and director for Superman 2 versus Superman Legacy, I don't want it to feel different. It's got to feel consistent. Zaslav had a vision in mind of a standalone studio that would have everything DC centralized. And that was the appeal for us, coming in and having access to any character, any story, and to tell the stories we wanted to tell across all the mediums. James Gunn says, I have an incredibly deep connection to these characters, to these stories, and to wanting to create that type of magic, not only in the kid that I was, but in the connection that I had with my father, with friends later on, Gunn explained, and wanting to create a unified world in DC where we tell stories. So, I mean, hopefully it does justice to the characters. That's all we can ask for. But it seems messy. It seems messy, man. Like, just be clear, James Gunn. Be clear with what you want, what you're going for. Because right now, it doesn't seem like he's 100% sure of what he wants. It doesn't seem like there's 100% like, this is what we're doing. And I really like what I heard about Superman. Superman gives me what he said about Superman, what Safran said about Superman gives me hope for the rest of the characters. What do you guys think? Are you hopeful? Are you optimistic for the DCU? Or do you think it's a bit of a mess and you're a bit weary? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.